up, sac passe? It's been so long since I've recorded a video. I think it's honestly been about 6 weeks since I actually recorded one, so I really am working backwards on this. I'm currently 16 weeks pregnant, so I'm working myself all the way back to week 4. So this video is going to be about weeks 4 through 8, what I've been through, my experiences, and I pray that within the next 2 to 3 weeks, by the end of April, I'll be able to catch up on all the videos. So I won't do any spoilers. I'll do my best to try to act as though everything is still, like I'm back in at least week 8, so I can catch you guys up. Okay, so I think my last video regarding pregnancy and everything was my beta video, in which we found out we were pregnant. From there, week 4, I was pretty normal, no issues there, just, lots of anxiety. We hadn't told anyone, and maybe like 1 or 2 people, but we definitely didn't tell any family or friends. We just wanted to make sure it was viable. So I went for my first appointment. I think that was January 17th was probably my, God, I can't believe it's April. So January 17th, I think, was my first ultrasound appointment. And I went there at night. Key thing about that appointment was I went there. That was my 4-week appointment. No, I'm lying. That was my 5-week appointment, I think. I was 5 weeks. 4 weeks was continuous, just blood work. And then my 5th week was actually my first ultrasound. My OBGYN would not see me until I was 6 weeks pregnant. And the clinic that was monitoring me during my IVF cycle wouldn't see me anymore, because now that I was actually pregnant, I would have to find my own physician. They were not going to model my prenatal visits, which I found so frustrating. So I had to go to a private outside diagnostic clinic, which had no problem monitoring me. So I was happy about that, but it was frustrating. Key thing, if you are getting an ultrasound, especially early in pregnancy, make sure that your order says transvaginal ultrasound, because I guess generally you do abdominal, but being that I was only 5 weeks, I think I was 5 weeks 1 day at the time that I went, they would not see me. So I had to actually contact my clinic and have them resend the lab order or resend the diagnostic order to have it specifically say transvaginal, so that way they could do that. So I did that. Appointment went great. We saw the sac, the gestational sac, and a little itty bitty yolk sac, and we were great, ecstatic, so happy. As far as symptoms, I was just really, really tired, and I was still on all my IVF medications, like my estrogen, progesterone oil shots, so many others I can't even remember. I'm just happy to be off of them now. Just a few other meds. And then from there, we went into week 6. We went into week 6, and I'm trying to think what else happened after that. Actually, 2 days before my appointment for my next ultrasound, my clinic in New York, CNY Fertility, called me to review the results from my 5-week ultrasound. They said everything looked great, blase, blase, blase. And right before we get off the phone, the nurse says, hey, by the way, she didn't say hey, by the way, but she kind of nonchalantly says, oh, it looks like they could have saw another sac. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she says, yeah, it looks like they could have seen another yolk sac. And I was just like, I just froze. And I was like, okay. And then from there, I kind of went to panic mode. I kind of ran downstairs. I told my husband, I was like, hey, they think they saw another yolk sac. That's what it says in my report. And my husband just kind of stood there like, what? There's no way. So he was just like, we need to get another crib. And then we kind of just laughed about it and let it alone, left it alone for the next 2 days, because we're just like, you know what? We don't want to get our hopes up. Let's just be happy that we're pregnant. Who knows? It's so early. Who knows what they can see in those little ultrasounds? All you see is black, gray, and white. We go in, do our ultrasound. that following Wednesday. I think that's January 24th. And I'm 6 weeks at this point, 6 weeks one day. And, it's like 20, 30 minutes. I'll say like 20 minutes as the ultrasound tech is doing, doing everything. Again, it's transvaginal. And then from there, we can't see anything on the screen. She does her, part first, and then she'll turn around and show us the screen. So once she turned around, she was like, okay, I want to show you something. She was like, here's the heartbeat. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, it was just like, she was like, it was the best feeling in the world to be like, oh my gosh, I finally saw a heartbeat. Because with our last pregnancy, I was 9 weeks before I was able to go to an OBGYN. That's when I was allowed to see them. And by that 9-week point, the baby had already passed away at the 6-week mark. So I never got to see a heartbeat. So that was like so important to me. And so she says, all right, so here's the baby. She's like, here's the heartbeat. And then she says, okay, go ahead and follow this line. And we're like, okay, we're following a line. And from there, she's like, okay, so there's baby B. And we're like, we just kind of look at each other like, And then the look on my husband's face was like, you would have thought he saw a ghost. Like, his face was just like, he was stunned. And I just kind of let out like a sigh of like happiness, like, and then I kind of just started crying, not boohoo crying, but like I had to cry. And I was just like, a second baby. And then like we saw both heartbeats. And then she was like, well, this appointment is going to be a lot longer than we anticipated. And we just laughed and laughed. And she said how she did see a second sac, at my 5-week appointment the week before, but she wasn't 100% sure. She really needed the radiologist to confirm. So I appreciated her not saying anything to us at that time, because things can change. A lot of times there's like a vanishing twin where, there is a possible second sac, and then it kind of disappears. It's not strong enough. So again, just as a reminder, we only transferred one embryo, and that was a 3-day frozen embryo, and that was our second IVF transfer. So for us to end up with twins was crazy. So we did that appointment. And then from there, we're like, oh my gosh, like we can start to begin telling our friends and family. So we slowly began to do that. After that appointment, once I hit, once I kind of hit my 5-week mark, I can't lie, between right before 6 weeks, so like my 5-week 4-day, 5-week 5-day mark, and then all the way up until my 7th week is when I started having like nausea. I wasn't vomiting at the time, but just a lot of nausea, and it was throughout the day, just pretty much all day long. 7-week ultrasound was great, no issues there. And then by that time, our immediate friends and our family knew that we were pregnant and we were expecting twins. And then 8-week appointment, I went to my OBGYN. Actually went to my OBGYN at my 6-week appointment too. But it was basically the same thing as a private clinic, so I won't even go into that. But I went at my 8-week appointment, and that's when they had like a million forms to fill out, and it was overwhelming. Like, when I left, I was like, what am I supposed to do with all this paperwork? But I knew from that appointment that we wanted to do the non-invasive prenatal testing, which will test the sex chromosomes and also, test, the other chromosomes to make sure the babies aren't abnormal. So I said I elected to do that, and I couldn't do that until after 10 weeks. So that's it so far. That is pregnancy weeks 4 through 8. The main things that I really experienced, it was just lots of tiredness, nausea, cravings. I had a hot dog phase where I had hot dogs for about a week and a half. Like, oh my gosh, the best thing ever. And then I had a ramen noodle phase, and it had to be the kind that's in the cup that's hot and spicy, the chicken kind. I went through a phase for that for about a week. Now I can't even tolerate the smell of hot dogs or even look at noodles. It's just absolutely grosses me out. So Next video, I will be discussing week 10, and I think I'll go into another video for week 12, a video for week 14, and then a video for week 16. So there's a lot for me to cover, and I'm so sorry for all of you who've been like waiting for me to post. I apologize. Again, I'm currently 16 weeks pregnant. The last time I actually recorded a video, I was 10 weeks pregnant, but I didn't upload that because I realized I had other videos I needed to put up. So I'm really sorry for those of you who were like, oh my gosh, just fell off and forgot about us. That's not the case. I've just been exhausted. It's definitely a challenge, but I'm absolutely grateful. So until next time, make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is best because I'm always on there. So you can definitely follow my journey on Instagram because I am more likely to update and post on there. So Facebook and Instagram, Confessions of an Aspiring Mom. You can always send me a message. I will respond to you if you have any questions. And see you guys until next time.